Chapter 46 to 47. Due to his previous life experiences, Yuto understood one principle clearly. Many times, the things written on paper do not reflect the true intentions of the leader. The emotions conveyed through the leader's tone and expression are the critical information a subordinate should pay close attention to. No matter their purpose, stop them from approaching the land of fire. The mission brief gave broad completion conditions. Just stop them, making Kirigakure retreat, deceive, intimidate, or negotiate. As long as these guys do not approach the land of fire, the mission is considered complete. However, when Yuto asked, "To what extent can I go?" he distinctly saw Hiruzen's indifferent gaze, his tone as calm as iron frozen in winter. "Kill those ants from the land of water, twist off their heads, drain their blood, and bring their heads back to see me." This is what the third Hokage truly wanted to say. As for why he didn't say it directly and used the more moderate term "stop" in the mission brief, it was likely due to the special nature of the 7 ninja swordsmen. Although they share a title, the combat power among them varies greatly. Some, without their famous swords, are only at the special Jonin level, while some, like Kisame Hoshigaki, are formidable even without their swords. Without knowing the enemy's combat power, no killing orders were given rashly. After all, this was an assessment for promotion to Jonin. Sacrificing potential elites' lives would be too wasteful, something Hiruzen would not do. As a scheming spy, Yuto was adept at reading people's minds and quickly understood Hiruzen's intentions. So he spent considerable effort searching for clues, and with the Byakugan's unique scouting and farsight abilities, he confirmed the location where Kirigakure's team was crossing in the Land of Waves. In the far-reaching vision of the Byakugan, he saw the blast sword, Shibuki, Jinpachi Munashi, a master, but only just a master. Killable. Boom. The explosion's force was irresistible. Yuto didn't dare to take it head-on and rapidly retreated. Using the force of the explosion, he flew over 30 meters, his feet landing heavily on the lake's surface, raising huge waves that eventually fell as fine rain. Yuto's clothes were soaked, the veins around his eyes bulging. Humph. He tore off the scorched sleeve, his expression void of emotion. Brat! A thunderous roar came from the side. Faster than the sound was a large sword covered with explosive tags. Yuto suddenly fell back, dodging the sword. To Jinpachi's surprise, the arrogant and hateful Konoha shinobi did not take this chance to distance himself, but instead threw his hands back, slamming them onto the lake surface, propelling himself closer. Jinpachi felt a chill. When it came to close-quarters combat, Yuto was an undeniable expert, thanks to his clan's heritage. However, someone who swings a large sword day and night naturally has strategies to deal with close combat. He leapt back with even greater speed, like a startled wildcat, and quickly widened the distance. Yuto didn't pursue. Instead, he stood straight, lifting his leg until the sole faced the sky. In the next moment, the leg came down heavily like a battle axe from the sky. Chakra almost condensed into a point. Heavenly Foot of Pain! The lake water within a 100-meter radius was pushed away, lifted into the air, with the resulting waves crashing onto the shore, breaking trees and destroying roads. The soft mud at the lake's bottom was exposed. Jinpachi, unprepared, lost his foothold and could only fall freely without any support. Conversely, Yuto used the recoil from the Heavenly Foot of Pain to attack again. Dodging the large sword, he punched Jinpachi in the abdomen. Due to the Heavenly Foot of Pain, Yuto's chakra was slightly sluggish, and in haste, he only used his most familiar gentle fist. But that was enough. The chakra surged into the enemy's body, almost instantly destroying Jinpachi's stomach. Blood, mixed with visceral fragments, spurted from Jinpachi's mouth, staining Yuto's chest. Victory! Yuto's heart moved, and he aimed to kill, fingers poised to sever the enemy's throat. However, at that moment, a sudden force hit his left side. Jinpachi had detonated the tags wrapped around his sword. The self-damaging tactic had an unexpected effect, blasting both of them across the lake to the rainforest on the shore. Yuto's blood churned, but half a year's rigorous training had made him much stronger. His control over his body and chakra far surpassed the past. Swallowing the metallic taste, he adjusted his posture, landing in a water puddle in the rainforest without injury. "Something's wrong, the water is too heavy." Yuto's movement slowed. In the Byakugan's view, a dense mass of water was creeping up his legs. Water prison technique. The Kirigakure shinobi accompanying Jinpachi finally joined the battle at this moment. As expected of elite Chunin, their timing was impeccable. They intervened just as Yuto landed, the moment he had the least control over his body. If it were an ordinary jonin, being caught by the water prison technique would instantly turn the tables, making them a lamb to the slaughter. Unfortunately, their opponent was Yuto. Revolving Heaven! The Branch family youth shook his hands, first dispersing the heavy water clinging to his legs. Then his body spun rapidly, chakra gushing from his tenketsu, forming an impenetrable spherical shield. Boom! The 4 Kirigakure Chunin, including the one using the water prison technique, were all flung away, thrown far into the distance. Yuto stopped spinning, his face pale. Using both the Heavenly Foot of Pain and Revolving Heaven in quick succession had greatly drained his chakra, causing his muscles and chakra pathways to ache. This highlighted his current combat weakness, specializing in close combat with little to no mid to long-range ninjutsu. Facing a sword expert like Jinpachi, he had to rely on his body, which was highly dangerous. Luckily, I already shattered your stomach, the Branch family youth thought, focusing on the nearby Jinpachi. The sight of his enemy made Yuto's heart skip a beat. At this moment, Jinpachi knelt, holding his sword, neither fleeing nor begging for mercy. Instead, like a desperate beast, he screamed at Yuto, "Die, kid! We'll die together!" He intended to detonate the explosive tags on his sword completely. The diameter 30 centimeters, length 1 meter explosion scroll on the sword, even excluding the mechanisms and transfer cloth with explosive tags, it held at least 20,000 tags. At this distance, with my speed, it's impossible to kill him before the scroll explodes, Yuto concluded. Don't be impulsive, let's talk. Yuto's figure blurred as he madly dashed backward, trying to provoke the enemy with words to buy time. "Ha ha ha ha! Die! Just die!" Jinpachi screamed and roared. A mushroom cloud full of destructive energy rose at the island's edge. "Hey, hey, hey! Cheer up! Today is your big day!" "Am I not happy?" He looked at his friend in confusion. "Of course not. Look at you. Your eyebrows are all knitted together. The bride won't be happy to see you like this." He glanced at the mirror. The man in the reflection was tall and handsome, standing in a luxurious hotel banquet hall, surrounded by laughing and chatting relatives and friends. There was a giant 9-layer black swan cake and a massive red rose flower bed, larger than a car. Many people were taking selfies and posting them on social media after editing. The man was familiar with the scene, yet it also felt strangely unfamiliar. "Be happy. You're marrying the woman you love the most." He looked into the mirror, pinched the corners of his mouth, and forced a smile. The man in the mirror revealed his canine teeth in a twisted, almost beast-like grin. He shivered and dared not look at the mirror again. Dum, 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 dum. The wedding march roared, and flowers fluttered. Instinctively, he turned his head. At the end of the red carpet, the bride in a white wedding dress walked gracefully towards him. So beautiful. The man stared at her, lost in thought, until she stood beside him. "What's wrong?" The bride chuckled. "You look like you're seeing me for the first time." "I just think you look very beautiful today." "Oh? More beautiful than yesterday? Which one is prettier?" Ha 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 ha. Just teasing you. Silly. The bride laughed happily. Look, our little prince is smiling too. Little prince? We have a son? The man was momentarily dazed, then noticed the baby in the bride's arms. The baby's face was soft and pink, with tender skin, round and cute, smiling at him. My child. A soft feeling welled up in the man's heart. He reached out, wanting to touch the baby's cheek. The next moment, the man froze. He saw an ugly, glowing green mark on the baby's tender white forehead. It was the symbol of slavery, meaning this child would be, like him, a caged bird. This cursed fate would pass down through generations, unchanged until the end of time. He felt ice cold all over, as if he had fallen into hell. The golden, resplendent banquet hall suddenly twisted, turning into a sinister, jagged cliff. His friends, guests, the bride, and the baby in her arms all turned into monsters, cackling with shrill voices. Once a caged bird, always a caged bird for all eternity. You can't escape. Your soul and body will never be free. Not even death can change this sorrowful fate. The man's eyes widened in rage. Summoning unknown courage, he raised his fist and charged at the monsters, resolute and insane. Kill! 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 Then I'll kill you all. Kill until no one dares to cage me. Even if I have to kill until I'm the last person left in this world, I will... Yuto suddenly felt a sharp pain. The pain came from his mouth, specifically the tender flesh under his tongue. The illusion shattered, and rationality returned to Yuto. He quickly realized what had pierced his tongue and mouth. Before enduring the blast's impact, he had placed a shortened needle under his tongue. Good habits save lives, Yuto thought bitterly. Suddenly, he felt his face was wet. Opening his eyes, he saw a soft-bodied creature the size of his head lying on him, its eyes at the end of its antennae looking at him, both scary and somewhat cute. Ah, Yuto-kun, you're awake. Katsuyu's voice was still gentle. The Branch family youth groaned, his speech unclear. Katsuyu-sama, how long was I unconscious? A day and a half. That damn Jinpachi! Yuto snorted coldly. Even in death, he tried to drag me down with him. Yuto-kun, anger slows down the body's healing, and your voice sounds strange. That's because my tongue hurts. Yuto sighed inwardly, brushing it off. Thinking back to everything that happened that day, the youth felt a lingering fear. The power of 20,000 explosive tags was immense, almost comparable to a tailed beast bomb. In the moment before the impact, Yuto only had time to do three things. Place the needle in his mouth to prevent saying anything wrong while unconscious. Summoned Katsuyu and hid her on his body for post-unconscious treatment. Desperately used lion's fang bite in front of himself to avoid being killed by the shockwave on the spot. As it turned out, Yuto's choices were correct. He survived, though in bad shape, but with arms and legs intact, he was fortunate in his misfortune. As Tsunade's disciple, he naturally carried life-saving items from his teacher. Tsunade had put her chakra into Katsuyu, who could automatically release the mystical palm technique upon summoning. This was a marvelous use of Katsuyu's division and chakra transfer, showcasing Tsunade's profound mastery in auxiliary and medical ninjutsu. Never underestimate anyone. Jinpachi, who only appeared in the Fourth Great Ninja War as an impure world reincarnation, possessed such horrific decisiveness and secret techniques. Yuto frowned, summarizing the gains and losses of the battle. My use of Heavenly Foot of Pain is still not proficient. The best place to use this technique is on solid ground. I should have acted first in that shop. Too much chakra was given to revolving heaven, causing the enemy to be thrown too far away. If I had captured those mist Chunin alive and thrown them at Jinpachi, I might have delayed the scroll's explosion, giving me a chance to use body flicker technique to decapitate him. Not knowing mid to long-range ninjutsu puts me at a disadvantage in fights. Although Lion's Fang Bite's charge speed is fast, my arm's endurance is still a big issue. He thought for a long time, took a breath, and wanted to stand up to move around, but he found his body very tight. Looking down, Yuto saw himself wrapped in bandages. Katsuyu couldn't have wrapped me up with her antennae. He couldn't say what he felt, standing there dazed. At that moment, a voice came from the cave entrance. My adorable student is finally awake. Oh? What's wrong? You look like you're seeing me for the first time. A blonde woman tossed an unknown fruit to Yuto, chuckling lightly. Let's go home, my Jonin student.